A startling reason for Captain James T. Kirk's most well-known altercation in Star Trek, the original series, is revealed in Season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Lieutenant Erica Ortegas and a female Gorn pilot are stranded on an enigmatic planetoid in Terrarium, the ninth episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, which was written by Alan B. McElroy and directed by Andrew Kautz. However, when Ortegas discovers that the Metron, space gods first introduced in Star Trek, the original series, deliberately planned her ordeal, Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 9 takes a different path. Then, Strange New Worlds foreshadows Captain Kirk's eventual run-in with a Gorn, but why? Both the Gorn and the Metron were first introduced in Star Trek the original series Season 1, Episode 18, Arena, which ended with Captain James T. Kirk's most well-known battle during his tenure as Enterprise's captain. The opening scene of Arena shows the Starship Enterprise beaming down to a colony of the United Federation of Planets on Cestus 3, only to discover it destroyed and a Gorn trap set in place. Kirk and his landing party survive the planetary assault and beam back aboard, allowing the Enterprise to follow the Gorn's vessel. But the Metron step in and kidnap Kirk and the Gorn captain, putting their resourcefulness to the test in a death-defying fight on an unidentified desert world. Overpowered by the scaly alien, Kirk builds a makeshift cannon that kills the Gorn by following the Metron's hints. After being inspired by Captain Kirk's compassion for his opponent, the Metron, Carolyn Barry, eventually makes himself known. Pop culture mirrored Kirk's campy slugfest with the Gorn, while Arena, from Star Trek, the original series, confirmed Kirk's noble principles. In Terrarium, the ninth episode of Season 3 of Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, a Metron, Dariush Zahe, stops time and reveals himself to Lieutenant Erica Ortegas. To test if the two savage species might cooperate, the Metron tampered with the circumstances that resulted in Erica and the Gorn crash landing. La'an's murder of the Gorn made the Metron realize that further research is necessary on both humans and the Gorn, even if the Metron was impressed that Ortegas and the Gorn set aside their differences and cooperated to survive. Ortegas was able to forget the Metron's existence while still remembering the Gorn. It is established in Star Trek Strange New Worlds that the Metron have an inexplicable stake in the coexistence of the Gorn and humans. Metron's first experiment is manipulating Erica Ortegas and the Gorn pilot, and the Metron suggests that there will be more. Naturally, when Captain James T. Kirk takes charge of the USS Enterprise a few years later, the Metron's plans for humanity and the Gorn will enter their next phase. When the Metron pit Kirk against the Gorn in Arena, from Star Trek the original series, they may even know the Enterprise from Terrarium in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Star Trek, Strange New Worlds bravely chose to explicitly connect to Star Trek the original series Arena, using Erica Ortega's connection with a Gorn as a prelude and counterpoint to Captain Kirk's battle with a Gorn in the larger context of Star Trek lore. However, Star Trek Strange New Worlds appeared to provide a solution to a query that no one had regarding Star Trek the original series. The question of why the Metron was so intrigued by what Captain Kirk and the Gorn would do in a matchup has not really been considered in the past 60 years. Arena's justification was neat and taken at face value. Lieutenant Ortegas's development and learning seemed to be undermined by the Metron's revelation at the end of Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 9. The agony of Erica's loss following La'an's unintentional killing of her new Gorn buddy is juxtaposed with the sudden appearance of an all-powerful space god as a literal deus ex machina. Season 3 has given the alien reptiles new dimensions, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds has completely reimagined the Gorn, transforming them from a ridiculous joke into terrifying antagonists. Star Trek Strange New Worlds is a prequel that, of course, has a direct connection to the original series. Nevertheless, it seems like needless fan service to have the Metron show up in Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 9, and then effectively erase everyone's memories. In this episode, we were more interested in Ortegas and the Gorn than in the Metron or the future of Captain Kirk's relationship with the Gorn in Star Trek the original series. Thank you for watching.